The importance of selling and sales as a business owner. Oh my gosh, please welcome Jane Garee to the Money Mindset Manifesting Business Show. Jane, I am so honored to have you on the show. I think sales and selling is so important for entrepreneurs. So welcome to the show, Jane. I'm so excited to have you on this interview today. I'm going to just quickly read out Jane's bio because it is so interesting. And then I'm going to hand it over to Jane. So Jane Garee, the sales strategist for the non-salesperson, has helped service-based professionals master conversion strategies so that they can serve more people, make more money, and have more fun. So exciting, Jane. After a successful corporate sales career with $2 billion companies, she launched show-stopping sales in 2010, hitting six figures in her first year. So, Jane, that is queen energy right there. I just love that so much. She's known for her conversion expertise in enrollment conversations, content, and presentations. Jane teaches clients how to sell with confidence, authenticity, authority, and ease. In 2022, she co-founded Wonder the Seven, a lifestyle brand helping digital entrepreneurs integrate slow travel into their business for true location freedom. Jane is a sought-after speaker, expert contributor, and author of Unlocking Effortless Sales and How to Travel More Without Missing a Business Beat. When she's not working or exploring the world, Jane's probably writing historical fiction, shopping for travel gear, or at the spa, because life is too short to skip massages and facials. Oh my goodness, Jane, I've got goosebumps everywhere. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself before we dive deeper into this absolutely amazing topic.
Sure. And thank you so much for having me here. Sales and selling and travel, excuse me, those are my favorite topics to talk about. For selling and sales, it's everything in your business. So if you're in business, you are in sales. So that is the reason why I love to talk about sales and selling, because it's the make or break of your business. And then travel is my other favorite topic. And for years, I have been really running a business that's fully integrated. So I will go to other countries and stay there for a month or longer while I'm managing my business and never miss a beat and continue to make money while I'm there, and then have just an amazing schedule because I can do whatever I want at whatever part of the day. And then off I go to take the excursions or spend the day at the beach, depending on where I am.
Yeah. That is so interesting, Jane, because literally just yesterday I was speaking to a friend of mine and I was saying to her, being an online entrepreneur is so tricky, man, because you start out with this passion. I'm going to help people and I'm going to make an impact and transform lives. And then the online space hits you and it's technology from one thing to the next and setting up all the back end things just to make things work. You have to learn so many skills, and sales and marketing is one of them, right? It's the messaging behind it. It's your strategy. It's a psychology with the buyer's psychology. And all you want to do is just live your passion. And I think that's why so many entrepreneurs fail to create thriving businesses. So what would you say is the biggest challenge that business owners face when it comes to selling and sales?
Not spending enough time doing it. That is the biggest challenge.
Whoa, mind blown. Let's dive into that. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah. It's what you do when you are the CEO, you are the business owner. And it goes in stages. So in the beginning, you're absolutely everything. You're the strategist, you're the visionary, you're the sales department, you're the marketing department, you're the tech department, you're the operations department, you're the customer service delivery department. So when you own a business, you always need to keep in mind that sales and marketing should be where the majority of your time is spent. And so I'm going to give you a sub problem that tends to happen underneath and supporting, in a weird way, the number one problem, which is not spending enough time in sales or doing sales activities. And it is this: in the beginning, most people don't spend enough time in, and I'm going to say sales, because sales and marketing are not the same. So I really want to focus on selling here and sales. So in the beginning, most business owners don't spend enough time doing sales activities because for most people, it's just scary or uncomfortable. So they go and they do all of these other things that legitimately need to be done, but none of them are as important or are as effective as doing sales activities actually would be for them. So they go and they post, they go and create content, they make reels, they send emails, they do lives, they do a lot of marketing activity, which is necessary, but they stop there. And the reason they stop there is usually, number one, they don't know that now that they've done their marketing, they need to move into the sales department. And number two, they feel like, well, I've done all of this work, so I'll just sit back and watch the clients roll in. And that doesn't happen. So the number one problem that most business owners have when it comes to sales is simply not spending enough time doing direct sales activities. And it's because they've either got it confused with marketing and they think, well, I've done sales activities, I've posted, I've sent emails, I've fill in the blank. So I don't, what do you mean? I've done my work. Or, and it could be an and, they don't want to because it's uncomfortable. So when you're doing marketing is when you're doing marketing, it's not scary. If I send emails, not scary. I click send and I go do something else. If I post on social, if I do a live on TV, I'm not getting any direct feedback from my audience. So there's no fear of rejection. There's no concern that somebody is going to ask me any questions that I may feel weird about answering, put up an objections. Yeah, I'd love to, but I don't have the money. None of that happens in marketing. You're just sending it out because it's one-way communication. So not spending enough time doing sales activities because you're either uncomfortable doing it or you've confused it with marketing. That's usually what tangles most people up.
Okay, so clarify for us, what is the difference between a sales activity and a marketing activity? Because in my head, in a marketing activity, you still have a CTA, a call to action.
You do.
Does that involve the sales? Am I blurring the lines? Clear that up first. This is interesting.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a blurred line. So sales and marketing is like peanut butter and jelly. They need each other. They feed off of each other. They really need to work together, or you're really pushing that boulder uphill. So the easiest way that I like to describe the difference between sales and marketing is that marketing is a money mover. Marketing is a money mover. You're doing activities that are moving your prospects through a pipeline. You're doing an activity that's getting them to the next step on their client journey. So for example, a marketing activity would be posting a reel on social. What happens when you post a reel on social? People may see you and they may choose to take the next step with you, which might be download your lead magnet, your freebie, book a call, just pay more attention to you. So marketing is the money mover. It is something you put out into the world and are hoping, but if you've got everything buttoned up, then it will happen. But it's something you put out into the world, and then your audience is going to become more engaged with you and start responding. But the thing is, you may not know that. So you may not know unless you're sitting there watching all your metrics and email. Oh, look, somebody signed up again and again and again and again. So that's not going to happen. So this is where you got to get out of the marketing department and move over into the sales department. Some of this is going to be automated because that's necessary. And some of it, you just need to take a deep breath and go do something that's a little bit more interactive. So an example of a sales activity would be somebody commenting on your social post or your reel, and then they sign up for your lead magnet, and now you reach out to them and you say, hey, Yvette, thank you so much for downloading my lead magnet. I just wanted to pop in and introduce myself to you. This is what I do. Hope to see you around the block. Now that's, just a very, very gentle first thing right out. So you can always get more assertive. Hey, what's your biggest problem? Hey, you can do all of that. But for the first thing, the first step into the sales department, I like just, hi, I'm here. I'm a real person. I'm not a bot, and I appreciate your time. So that would.
So do you do this, sorry, Jane, do you do this in your email sequence as a follow-up, or a direct message on Facebook or Instagram?
I do both. I would recommend that you do both. Yeah. Now here's why. We are in a market that is not as apt to click to enroll, especially in high ticket. So I've been in this space 16 years. This is my 16th year in the online coaching and consulting industry. There was a time back in the day where even with high ticket, you would be able to get somebody to follow you, click to enroll, and they'd pull their credit card out for $5,000 and above. That is still happening, but it is getting more challenging to do those kinds of enrollments solely through automation. And it's for a variety of reasons, but right now, making sure that you can have an interactive conversation with prospective clients, especially if what you do is sell high ticket, that's becoming more and more important.
Okay, all right. So that's very interesting. So sales is really the direct touch points.
It's the direct touch point. You're getting instant interaction. So now let's take an example of, thank you so much. I'm a real person, not a bot. I hope you enjoy the lead magnet. So now what you can do is you can go back in. I would recommend having an email sequence that's automated and is putting them through the paces of, so now that you have it, did you look at this in the lead magnet? And that's going to roll it into marketing. So I don't want to go into that. And what you can also do is put in a follow-up message. Hey, Yvette, just checking in. You should be getting these emails. Wanted to know what's your biggest aha moment, or what is the favorite thing that you have gotten so far from this lead magnet? So again, it's building the relationship, and people are more likely to interact with you if you do that. Now, one thing that I want to talk about, because this is a very layered subject, sales is. You can go from 0 to 100 like that, or you can do a slow build. There's really not a wrong way to do it. It's just in the approach. So a faster way would be in the first message, hey, Yvette, always love it when people download my lead magnet. I'm sure you're going to get a lot out of it. My favorite thing is on page 32 or page 2, whatever, number 2, list of 10. And I wanted to offer you an opportunity to book a sales audit with me so that you can sit with me for 20 minutes in real time, and I can quickly assess what's going on in your sales process, what needs to be revised or completely released. Click here. So you can move as fast as you want. A lot of it is there's an art and a skill to sales. So a lot of the art of it is understanding where you are in the process, where your prospective clients are in the process, and what would be the most of service to them. So for some people, book a call quickly. That makes a lot of sense. For other people, maybe a couple more interactions before they book a call. That's going to make more sense.
So it all comes down to the know, like, and trust factor, right? We've all heard know, like, and trust. I feel like marketing is the know. They need to become aware that you exist and you can actually help them. You have product services that can help. The like and trust, for me, slides into the sales department where you start nurturing them. And the trust is obviously where they click the buy button. Awesome. That sounds, that clears it up. So everybody watching or listening, drop in the comments below, do you understand marketing versus sales? And what is your biggest aha moment with that? We would love to hear you in the comments. So you were talking, Jane, when I was reading your bio, you talk about this location independence and a little bit of traveling, okay? So, what would you advise anyone that is really intrigued by that? How would they set their businesses up in order to really have a life of let's go on vacation, let's travel to a new country, and continue business in the background like a queen?
Well, the first thing I would recommend is you've got to get your business so that you have a sales strategy in place, and you have a sales process in place, then your marketing strategy is supporting your sales, and then you need to make sure your back office and your operations are all buttoned up. So you need to look at those categories. What are my sales and marketing doing? Do I have my automation or my back office and operations set up? And then how am I actually going to run this business? How do I want to run it? So you don't want, it's going to be really challenging to get location freedom if you have 20 sales calls a week. So let's not do that.
Oh,
Maybe
no.
have 5, that's part of going in and really looking at the sales strategy holistically and understanding what is going to work for each individual. But that would be an example. So set up the operations, understand what your sales and marketing are doing, make sure you have a plan that you can follow, and then make sure all of that is a good fit for being able to serve your clientele, and also for being able to serve you and the lifestyle that you want to live. So as an example, I like to go places and stay for a month or longer. So I've been in Australia, I've been in a lot of different countries in Europe doing this, New Zealand. So I will go and I will stay for a month or longer. And my calendar it might be adjusted for time zones. That does have to happen. So it's adjustable time zones. But really, when I'm traveling like that, I only work maybe 4 or 5 hours a day. Some days, not at all. And some days I might put in 8 or 10 hours because I'm not going to work the next 3 days in a row. So make sure that you've got everything in order, but you also have to be very mindful of how am I going to continue to generate revenue if I'm not in my home office and if I'm not completely tethered to my computer all day.
Yeah. It's really just getting organized. I think entrepreneurs can be so creative. So there's that creative flair. And I think bringing it back down to the logical flair of being organized, right? So planning.
It is organization, but I will caution you and everybody else watching this. There's this concept of laptop lifestyle where I'll just take my laptop and I'll be fine because I'm organized, and how hard can it be? And I'm just switching my business. Well, not really. I mean, if you're taking an elongated vacation, and by the way, I'm not a proponent of working on vacation. Close all your gadgets and be done with it and just go on vacation. But why this concept of laptop lifestyle, which is inaccurate, pops up for most people is because we can take things with us. People will go on an elongated vacation. So maybe it's 2 weeks, and half of those, they just shut everything down. But then the other half, they work while they're there. So well, I can check email, well, I can do Zoom, and you can do all of that. But it's a much different thing when you are in another country for a prolonged period of time. There are social elements that you don't have to think about when you're on vacation. There is sustainable Wi-Fi and being able to get to the technology that you need in an ongoing matter, not let me run back up to the hotel because I'm going to do a couple Zoom calls and then I'm going to hit the beach again. So your living conditions tend to be much different. Most people don't stay in a hotel for 3 months. You get an Airbnb, you rent a house, you rent an apartment. That's what I do. So there is the work element, but there's also the social element. And then the other thing that people really forget, because their baseline comparison is, well, this is what I do on vacation. If you're going for 1 to 2 weeks somewhere, you're going to pack for 1 to 2 weeks. When you're going somewhere for 1, 2, 3 months, all of a sudden, that's a very different way of packing. Some things that you are going to do all day, every day at home, and you're not going to be in that routine where, like Romania, I was in Romania. That was one of the places that I went. You're going to get knocked out of your routine. You're also going to need, because a lot of my target market are women over 40, 45, 50. You're also going to need your supplements and all of these things that you're calling, right? All of the things that you don't think about on vacation.
What? Yes.
Oh, yeah. If you're solo going on vacation for 1 to 2 weeks, usually you're with somebody, or maybe you joined a tour, something like that.
Yeah.
But when you're going for longer periods of time, not having any kind of social circle except Zoom is not going to be fun, and it's really going to show up in how you're just approaching every day, including your work. So it's much different and more challenging than most people think to really integrate location freedom and independence into your life.
I hear you. I hear you. You spoke about the adventures that you have and the spa days that you book and all these amazing things. And I know entrepreneurs can work themselves to the bone. How many are burnt out because they do not create that white space? So how would you advise everyone watching or listening how to create white space in order to really indulge in self-care and adventures and experiences and all the wonderful things?
Yep, that's a great question. So I would say you want to be mindful of three things. Number one, you need some time to work on your business from a CEO level, not just in your business, which is client service delivery, doing all of the things, but really making sure that you can work on the business. That's not an original concept. That comes from the E-Myth, if anybody's heard of that. But there's working on your business, which is the strategic planning, knowing what it is that you need to do. And then there's in the business, which is actually fulfilling those things that need to be done. So the first thing is you need to make sure you've got space to do that, work on the business, not just in. The second thing that you need to make sure that you do is you have some downtime to be able to rest. So weekends are not enough. And especially as for business owners, we might shut a computer down on Friday and not really get into the computer. We're not working, but we're still thinking about it. That's really, really a big deal for entrepreneurs. Our brains don't shut down.
Yeah, and honestly, on your phone, you can do so much. So you're constantly connected, right? You constantly want that dopamine rush. Let me just check. Let me just check. Let me just check. So honestly, weekends take up not even like mental space, but physically, it really does. Yeah.
So that is making sure that you have the discipline to turn things off and rest. And active rest is sometimes easier to not work. So if you're, well, I do love going to the spa. So if I go to the spa, I go to the facial. When I'm doing that, I can't be checking my phone. So
No.
I have a couple hours where I'm not working. And it is a certain amount of discipline to just, unless you have a business where it's part of your business model where you can be reached 24/7, nobody is expecting that. So that is on you to say, hey, I'm not available. I don't work on weekends. I don't work these times. And nobody's really expecting you. It's we are the ones that go, well, let me just, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm about ready to turn everything off and go to bed. Let me check email one more time. Worst to do. So don't do that. So number one, make sure you have days or time to work on your business, not just in it. Number two, make sure you are scheduling downtime and time to rest. That's really important. And then the other thing that I always recommend for business owners, and this is something that I practice regularly, is time blocking. Because when you batch things up and you do like activities in the same time frame, you will move through things more quickly and more effectively. And then you can also schedule breaks in that way. So an example of that would be, I like to do content creation between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. And then I start moving into things like this: speaking gigs, interviews, client service delivery. I work one-on-one with clients. I also have groups. I have to go in and do the training and do the work. And then in the afternoon, I like to do outbound sales activities. So that's how I batch and block everything so that I'm doing like activities all at one time, because it's faster and more effective. When you time batch, you also can block time out to do things. So swimming is my cardio of choice, and I would prefer to do it in the day because sometimes you're just tired at the end of the day and you don't want to do it at night. So because I've got everything time batched and time blocked, putting swimming in 3 to 4 times a week in the middle of the afternoon, it's really easy. I need a couple hours to be able to get there, get back, do the swim, sit in the hot sauna afterwards. But I can put that into my calendar because I've got time batch to make sure that it allows for that.
I love that so much. That is such a great tip. honestly, you don't think how powerful something so simple can be. Just to bring your awareness to that. So I know everyone watching or listening is going, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start with all of this. Jane has got you covered, people. Jane has got you covered. She is offering a sales audit call where she can really help you dive into it. Jane, could you tell us a little bit more about this call and why it is so important that people click the link in the description? We've dropped it in the description, and get on a sales call with you. What is this about?
These are so powerful. I love doing these. So what happens in a sales audit is I take a look at what you've got going on right now in your business from a sales strategy standpoint and then a sales implementation process standpoint. And in 20 to 30 minutes, max, not only am I going to be able to tell you, stop doing these things, start doing these things, or what you're doing is what you want to be doing, but we're going to make some tweaks and some small revisions for bigger results. So you'll walk out of that call knowing this is what I need to keep, this is what I need to release, this is what I need to revise, and then you're going to have a plan to know exactly what you need to implement to make sure that you are generating leads through to people saying, I'd love to work with you much more quickly and effectively. Whereas I like to say, business is stressful enough. So the whole thing for me when sales is, let me help you stop the stress and get to yes. That's really what you're looking to do. So we'll up the time frame there, which number one alleviates the stress. You'll feel confident and very clear about what you need to do to implement. And then those two things alone will significantly cut down on the stress and move you closer and faster to a yes.
Oh, I love that. Okay, the sales audit is powerful. Go and click that link. Just book your call with Jane. Get it over and done with. Get some help. As entrepreneurs, we want to do everything ourselves. And I think it is so important, create the white space by getting help. Jane, do you have any courses and programs that people can purchase from you, get to know you, like learn more from you? Do you have any of those?
Oh yeah, I've got, I mean, I know I'm biased, but I've got the coolest stuff. If you are really serious about, I know I need to sell, I need to embrace it, I want to have fun with it, I don't want to be afraid of it, and I know that it's of service to people. So how can I make more money, serve more people, and have more fun? That's really what that's what it's about. So if that's you, then a couple things that I would recommend. Number one is definitely click on the link to get my ebook. So Unlocking Masterful Sales. In that, I've got 10 myths around sales that tend to keep people blocked and frustrated so that they don't enroll people. They don't get the yes. So make sure you get that. That'll get you into my community where you will have an abundant amount of fun and very practical tips on how you can get better at sales, which just means you're going to get clients faster and easier. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I absolutely work with people one-on-one. So a lot of my clients tend to be, they're already in the six-figure range. A lot of them are already in the multi-six figures up to the seven-figure mark. They know how to sell. They're good at it, but there's always a next level of mastery, and they're starting to find that the conversions are they're getting more cumbersome. They're getting more challenging. They feel like they may have lost their mojo. They're ready to grow and they've plateaued and they're not sure what else to do. So if you're in that category, then book the sales audit. That's going to be the fastest and easiest way for me to determine what sort of very precise support and accountability you would need. And then finally, I want to let everybody know, because this I'm extra excited about. I have created a brand new course. It hasn't been released yet, but it is coming, I'd say, next 7 to 10 business days. We just put it up. We're putting all the graphics on it. But this is going to be all about selling fundamentals, because what I know after 30 years of not only sitting in a sales seat, but managing teams, hiring salespeople, working in this industry, my corporate background is that when you know how to sell, everything changes. Everything changes. It is your go-to. It is your touchstone. However, most people in the online coaching and consulting industry do not come from a sales background. They don't come from any any place that actually gave them very proper, very formal sales training. So it ranges from I struggle every day to figure out what I'm supposed to do and get clients enrolled to I'm doing it, but I'm getting really burned out and I don't know how I'm doing it. It's getting harder and all of that. They're getting fatigued.
Yeah.
So everybody needs the fundamentals. You either need to get them because you never had them and that is not your fault, or you need to revisit them because you have kind of forgotten them. Or the third thing is you kind of had a little bit of it, but you've been winging it. And so you're out there hustling with heart. That's not the best way to do it. Let's make sure you've got a solid sales strategy, a sales process that you can follow, and that you have the fundamental knowledge and that you're continuing to master those fundamentals every single day. So that will be released in 7 to 10 business days. Here's how you make sure you get that. Either book a sales audit, because then I will know you will be talking to me personally, and or click that link to get the sales ebook, because that will get you in my community and then you will be getting the announcements.
Perfect. Go check the links right now in the description. Do not click to another video before you have done that. You will forget to come back. You will forget. And then one last thing, Jane mentioned her book. Hold on. I'm going to give you the name of her book again. There we go. Unlocking Effortless Sales and How to Travel More Without Missing a Business Beat. Those links for that book will also, is it 2 books? What, 2 books?
They're 2 separate books. The ebook
2 separate books, right? Yeah. That will be dropped in the description. You can go and check out those books. I think that is absolutely fascinating. And of course, all Jane's socials in the description as well. So it's easy peasy to get hold of her and reach out, follow her, see what she's about, right? It's the know, like, and trust factor. We're always talking about that in sales and marketing. Jane, it has been absolutely phenomenal talking to you. You have such wisdom and insight. I'm hanging on every word, trying to absorb everything. Absolutely wonderful. Excuse me. It was so lovely to connect to you and to get a little bit of guidance and support. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate you. I value your time. Thank you so much. Thank you. Love to everybody. Love to you, Jane. And I'll speak to everyone next time. Take care. Bye-bye.